What's up, Mallow?
Gentlemen,
Yo.
what's going on?
Not much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Under the circumstances, I'm doing good.
Let's fire away with questions.
Hey, Mello, I think it's easy for a lot of people to see the motivation behind going to Orlando. I mean, the fans get entertainment. Us writers get something to write about. Owners get money. What's your motivation for going?
Basketball. At the end of the day, wanting to play, wanting to get back on the court. That's my personal motivation. So that's kind of where I've kind of been, not forcing myself, but challenging myself to think that way, as opposed to thinking about all the negatives and the questions about going into a situation like that.
Was that a process for you to kind of come to that realization that, yeah, I do want to play?
Yeah, I mean, as far as basketball, as far as playing, I've never was against it. I never said no, I didn't want to play basketball from a basketball standpoint. But just like everybody else, I've always had my concerns. I've always had early I had questions. Before I was getting information, I had a lot of questions. I thought the NBA and the PA did a great job of just answering those questions for me, giving me some clarity. But as a human, like, there's still tons of concerns at the end of the day about going down there, the unknown of how this is going to play out, right? The pressures of this working, and that's just where I'm at. I have concerns. I mean, everybody has concerns about what's going to happen, how everything is going to transpire, because we just don't know what's going to happen.
Carmelo, with Trevor sitting out, with return of Zach Collins, return of Nurkic, do you see your role changing at all, or have you envisioned maybe how you might play alongside those guys, seeing as how there's now a big hole at the three?
Yeah, well, I mean, the good thing is I get to go back to my original position, which is playing at the three, where I'm actually very comfortable at that. I've been doing that my whole life. Just over the past couple of years is where I started transitioning towards playing the four more when teams is going small. So it's that was to my advantage as well. But I think today in this game, it's positionless. There's no positions no more today. So it doesn't matter, when people put an emphasis on you playing the three or you playing we out there playing. At the end of the day, the schemes are going to be the same. We're going to figure it out. Guys going to be able to have to guard multiple people and know multiple positions on the court. So you just never know what's going to happen. So as far as missing Trevor, hell yeah, we're going to miss Trevor. I mean, he's especially in this time, because this is where his veteranship and his leadership would have came into play. We all know experience plays a big part in what we're trying to accomplish here. So we're going to miss him from that standpoint. But with that said, to answer your question, as far as positions goes, there's no more positions in the NBA no more at all. You just go out there, put a five out there to go and see what happens.
With you guys coming back and you talking about the experience and the positions, with the season being basically 8 games, it's almost like a playoff series. Do you anticipate those seeding games to be more like playoff basketball, where it's switching, hunt the matchups and things like that? Because I think Terry also said you guys are going to probably be running like a playoff type rotation too.
Yeah. So the way that I'm approaching it, and I'm trying to get everybody else on our team to approach it this way, is we got to go right out the gate. Right? We don't have time to get loose and get ready and give away the first 2 games. No. We got to have a great camp. We got to have a great 3 weeks, down 2.5 weeks or whatever down in Orlando. And that first game, we have to go. We got to be ready to go. There's no waiting, laying back and seeing. We got to have our plan. We got to have a clear-cut plan. And we have to be ready to attack straight out the gate.
Mello, how have you done that? How have you tried to get that across to the guys?
Well, I mean, we talk. We're around each other to an extent, do the protocol, but we see everybody every single day. You know, guys are really working on the things that that we need to work on in order to be successful for this short period of time. I'm trying to stress to players that we need to focus on the things that we need to focus on. We need to work on the things that we need to work on. That's going to be able to push us over the top and get us where we need to be. As far as all the other type of training and working out and where you have time to plot and plan, we don't have time for that. We need to work on where you're going to be at on the court, your position, knowing the sets, knowing the plays. Communication will become key, and just trusting one another at this point.
Well, obviously, we've seen over the years what Dame can do in the playoffs. How excited are you to kind of see that up close? You know, if you guys are hopefully able to get into the playoffs.
I know what he's going to do. I think we all know what he's going to bring to the game. I'm more excited about actually being in the position that I was supposed to be in a couple years ago with this team, right? And having those guys around me and being able to bring something to this team that has kind of just been lingering around for so long, giving them another option on the perimeter, another scoring threat out there, another guy who can make plays for everybody else, but also understanding that, okay, I have Zach back, right? I have Nurk back. Oh shit, I have Hassan back there. So it's like that's what excites me about wanting to play basketball again right now and going to Orlando.
Do you think the fit is better with these guys than it was maybe in Oklahoma City? You know, like with this team, what they're asking you to do. Do you feel like you're excited about this role with this team?
Yeah, I mean, my role is to continue to do what I've been doing since I've been here, right? And that has been clear cut for me from day one. You know, before I even got here, that conversation, and we all have stuck with that plan. And as you can see, it's worked. It's worked to an extent. And now we have an opportunity to put those pieces back into play. You know, we had guys that was injured, battling injuries towards the end of the cancellation. Now guys are healthy. The stresses of the season and traveling and just the back-to-backs and just all of that stuff that comes with playing basketball in the NBA. Now we go into one place, one location. Our schedule is set, our routine will be set, and we know how to focus and we know how to attack it.
Well, obviously, another storyline right now is the social unrest and the social justice, and you've had quite a voice in that.
Yes.
Is there anything about this time, this era, that gives you more hope that change can come about?
Yes, the fact that I think that the younger generation who really have the voice right now are the ones who's going to propel us forward and make the change. I mean, I've been fighting for so long. I mean, my generation before me has been fighting for so long, but we never really had the camaraderie from everybody. Now, this younger generation has they have the camaraderie from all generations. They're smarter. They're more aware. They're more educated today than we were, coming up. We knew certain things, but now they get, they getting a plethora of information right now from all over and all type of information. So they utilize that in a way that's powerful, that's impactful. And also the times. I think now what's going to happen, everybody's going to be open to having uncomfortable conversations. And that's just where we're going to be at. From here on out, you will see that change. As far as like big change, I don't think I'll never see it. I don't think you would never see it, but I think my kids will see it, right? So I don't know what that change will be, but there will be change eventually.
What are you going to have on the back of your jersey?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure that out right now. It'll be something. It'll be something that's meaningful to me. That's along the lines of what I've been, kind of talking about and preaching and harping on, and just something that I stand on and believe in.
Melo, what did it mean to you to have that platform on Slam, and also to include your son? What did that mean to be able to do that?
Well, it was for one, it was a great opportunity for me to just be able to, from a creative standpoint, take over the full magazine. And, that was conversation that we talked about. I told him, look, the only way I would be involved in this is if you let me take the gloves off and you let me be creative and you let me tell the stories that I want to tell. And that's what happened. And we work in the tandem to get this done. And, it was a lot going back and forth about what I wanted, a lot of different ideas for the cover and just stories. And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna put my son on the cover because it's about the future now, right? I mean, I'm gonna continue speaking what I have to speak on, but I'm the past and I'm the present, right? And to have my son in the front of that, with me standing behind him, letting the world know that, I don't just have my son's back. I have this next generation back as well. And those are the people who need to be heard.
Carmelo, had you ever done anything like that before? And what was that experience like if you hadn't to really kind of be involved in that creative process of bringing a magazine from kind of a concept idea to its actual?
Yeah, I've had opportunities to do stuff with certain magazines and certain outlets, but never this in depth as far as, it was 2 weeks of just like nonstop. And when you're dealing with all the stories that I put in there, handwritten letters from, Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and, Mahmoud and, Craig Hodges being able to tell his story, like Oscar Robertson, speaking at this point in time and where we at right now, and the WNBA, roundtable and the younger generation and, with HBCUs and talking about that and just every single thing it took a lot of time, it took a lot of time, a lot of overtime. But it was something I was very careful with because I really wanted the stories to live on its own and everybody have their own voice and their own platform. And once all of that came together, I knew all I had to do was just kind of, take the right pictures or take the right information, put them here, get my table of contents right, and see the layout of the actual magazine, and then, dial it.
Was any part of this therapeutic for you?
Of course, it was educational at the end of the day, because when you hear somebody like, Spencer Haywood, right, and when you hear his story, a lot of people don't know his story. A lot of kids don't know his story. The younger generation don't know who Spencer Haywood is. So to hear his perspective on what he had to deal with when he first came in and coming out of high school and being one of the first, African-American players in the NBA, like that story alone, people need to hear that. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar never spoke before. He was so quiet throughout his whole career. Even after his career, up until a couple years ago, he started to really open up a little bit. But the way that he spoke in this magazine is touching and it's educational. So I've learned a lot of reading these stories from these people, and I got a better understanding of who these guys were and what they dealt with.
I'm just curious if you've seen what you've seen from Zach and Nurk and what your impressions are of them.
I can't give you that right now. Only thing I can say is I've been very impressed with kind of just where they at as far as their health. Of course, that's first and foremost. Zach in particular, just what he brings to the game, right? I've played against him obviously, but only for a couple games, a short period of time. So I never really got an opportunity to see him on the court or be on the court with him to understand what he brings to the game. And unless you're out there on the court with him, you don't understand or you don't grasp the small things that he does on the court that make a major impact. So that's something that I see right now, and just being in the gym and watching and just being around. And Nurk is Nurk, right? It's what he brings to the game, his confidence in the game. And for me, just building his confidence and continue building his confidence and letting him know and understand that you are a major part of what we're trying to do here, right? I'm here to help you in any way, shape, or form. We're going to be good. Don't worry about that. But just his health, and for me, it's his health. If he's healthy, then he's not going to have any issues. He's going to be able to just jump right back in there. And that's something that, I've been seeing from him too. The way his feel for the game, the way he see the game, the way he passes the ball, the way he make plays. That's something that I've been seeing over the past couple of weeks.
Just following up on the magazine, I guess, what kind of reactions have you gotten to it? What have people said to you? And is in the process of kind of putting it together, you talked about kind of all the athletes that you had actually in the magazine. Were they mostly coming to you, or you found them? And what was the level of wanting to be a part of this?
So the process was, I had a list of just like stories that I wanted to tell, and that haven't really been touched on and really been told before. Again, you go back to, Oscar Robertson. Like, people know of Oscar Robertson, they don't really know his story. And when you read this story, you would take from that story, like, you really know who he is. Like, you are in his shoes. And that's the feeling that I wanted for every story that I put in the magazine. I was able to handpick each story outside of maybe 2 or 3 that, that Slam already in partnership already had that they wanted to put in the magazine. But everything else, all the other stories, the creative, the concept, I came up with that in 2 weeks. And it was something that, I can say it took a lot of work, but also it was fun, it was therapeutic, it was educational, it was creative, and that's what I wanted when I was doing this magazine.
Carmelo, it's talked about a lot, like in terms of like an all-star, that a lot of times people look forward to because it's a chance for kind of the league to all just get together.
Yeah.
And you have a situation in the bubble now where it's going to be kind of like that. Obviously, there's going to be some regulations about contact, but I'm curious what you think kind of the feel is going to be off the court. Like, is it going to be collegial, do you think? Will it be like an Olympic setting where you have teams, but everyone kind of keeps to their own? I'm curious if you have any expectations about kind of how that's going to play out, particularly seeing as how you're a guy who, a lot of people look to and respect.
I'm trying to make the best out of this situation. And I don't know how, but I'm going to make the best out of this situation. If that's, me gathering, the guys that, in under protocol, and talking and keeping the conversations going, I'm going to do that. If, being there for the guys who, we've never experienced anything like this before, but it's the way I perceive this and the way that a younger player in this league will perceive this will be totally different. They may not know what to expect. They may not know how to handle this. This is going to be a stressful situation for everybody, right? It's going to be everybody's going to be tested mentally. Everybody's going to be tested emotionally. It's going to be a lot of things that's going on still while we're down there in the world that we're going to be paying attention to. So everybody is going to have their own thing that they're doing and saying and messaging that they have, but it will be, almost the Olympic Village style, right? It's that when all the athletes are just in one place. But with that, you're not going to be able to have that much interaction with guys. So that's the challenging part. As far as on the court goes, that's challenging too, because a lot of guys, we as athletes, we rely on the fans, right? To get momentum, and that's how you make runs, and that's how you get back in the game with your fans. Guys is not going to have that. So you're going to be tested to see how motivated you are as an individual, how much self-motivation you have, right? To go out there and get yourself going and motivated to go play in front of no one. So you have that aspect. You have, you just have the emotional aspect with going down there. Guys may not want to go down there, but we're gonna be down there. And I'm sure guys gonna be thinking about that as well. No family, no this, no that. So it's so many things that's coming into play that guys is gonna have to deal with. But I think this is gonna make everything stronger, because if we don't get this right, then this put a dent in sports in America, in all over the world, because everybody is looking at the NBA to see how this is gonna play out. And I'm excited about it. From that, I trust the NBA, I trust the PA as far as putting this plan together. Now, we can't control what happens, once the plan is in. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, who's going to get sick, who's not going to get sick. We are at risk. We know that. But I think we're doing everything in our power to try to prevent that.
Hey, Mello, I feel like one of the themes throughout this meeting has been kind of your leadership, in particular your leadership with the Blazers. And I remember your first night with the team. You showed that when in the opening introductions, when you kind of led the huddle. Have you felt over time that your voice has gotten bigger within the team, or that you feel more comfortable leading this team?
I don't know if it's a comfort level, so to say. I think for me, I just try to be myself, and however way that comes across, I know who I am, I know what I believe in, I know what I stand on, and I know what I bring to the game and to a team. This is not something that what you guys are saying is not something that I haven't never done before. Like, I've done this with every team. It's just, if somebody choose to highlight that, then they highlight it. If they don't want to highlight that, then they don't. I think it's more magnified now, being in the situation that I was in, coming to Portland, being able to jump into a situation and be comfortable with that. And once I was able to be comfortable with the situation, then who I am comes out to play, right? And being that leader, being that guy that the guys can talk to, rallying the guys up, but also understanding guys' personalities, who like to talk, who don't, who leads. Everybody leads in their own way. Everybody has their own message. So for me, it was just a matter of just getting everybody together and letting them know, look, I'm here for y'all. Like, I'm here to make this situation work. Whatever I got to do, we're gonna do it. I'll fit into what's going on. Don't worry about me, because I can make that adjustment. I just need everybody to do what they do, and that was my message from day one.
Mello, as you look back on this season, and as you'll move on in life and everything, what has this season meant to you? If you could summarize, I mean, it's been a wacky season that's still going on, for crying out loud, in the middle of the summer, but overall, what has it brought to you? What are you going to remember about it? What's it meant to you?
It's not what I'm going to remember. It's what I'm not going to remember about this year. It's, honestly, this year has been a roller coaster. Like, I mean, especially for me personally, being home off for a year and some change, away from the game, getting the opportunity to see the game, get away from the game, kind of just build myself up from a mental standpoint, emotional standpoint, getting over that, coming to Portland with the unknown of what's going to happen, but taking a chance and moving to a place where I had no idea of what Portland was, other than going to the Nike campus, right, at one point in time, and it being wine country. That was the only thing I knew about Portland. So being able to do that, and then playing and enjoying, and just the joy of coming back, the excitement, and then to lose my brother Kobe in this same year, dealing with that, emotional roller coaster, to fast forward to the coronavirus. Like, it's been a very rocky, up and down, weird season emotionally, but this is a season that I'll never forget, because this season almost jump-started something for me, and not just from a basketball standpoint, just from an overall standpoint. I was able to take what I've experienced and learned and figured out in that time off, and apply that to not just basketball, but to life. And that's where I'm at right now.
You mentioned building yourself up mentally while you were away. I'm curious as to how you think that preparation is going to help you in this unique situation, and whether that's going to help you at all. And how do you even prepare for something that is going to require isolation and all the things you've already touched on?
I've been isolated for a year and a half, I'll tell you. So I know what that feeling is like, because I isolated myself away from the game, right? And been away and did it purposely, right? Because I didn't want to be, the only way I can figure this out is to get away from it. And once I figured that out, going down here in the bubble, as far as being alone, I actually like being alone. Like, I find it more peaceful when I can sit still and think and read and watch TV and watch movies, because I don't really have an opportunity to do that often. So that year and a half off has prepared me for a situation like this, because now I was able to get my schedule right and get a routine. Okay, I'm gonna take this time. I'm demanding that I take 2-3 hours out of my day to focus on reading something, watching something important, listening to, podcasts or audibles and things like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing down there in Florida. So I'm going to try to make it fun and have a great time.
Okay, we got time for a couple more, then we got to wrap it up.
Mello, what's your review of CJ's wine?
Say it again?
What's your review of CJ's wine?
I haven't had it yet. I haven't had it. I should be getting mine in a couple of days, but I haven't had it yet.
Mello, between you and Dame and CJ, it seems like all y'all are pretty into just like chilling in the room, like, and maybe having some wine or whatever. Do you think, are you going to kind of try and get the whole team to kind of be like, hey, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to lock in. And, do you think that could be an advantage for you, being that like you guys are kind of cool with just chilling in your room?
I'm a little bit more flexible when it comes to chilling in the room than Dame is. Like Dame can sit in the room all day, record his songs, watch TV. Like that's what he loves to do. I actually love to do that, but it comes a point in time where, I think I break my monotony up. I like to get out and walk. As you guys know, I take walks at night during the day. So that's going to be challenging in Orlando, trying to figure out if I can still do that, where I can walk to, what I can do, what I can't do. So I'm going to try to mix it up. As far as being in the room and things like that, we're going to have to adjust on the fly, because, again, we don't know how this is going to play out. Once we get there and get the lay of the land and have a few days or a week under our belt, then we can start planning on, moving around and seeing what we can do, what we can't do. But it's hard to say that at this very moment.
Hey, Carmelo, urgency involved with playing games. What would it mean to you to make the playoffs? And do you like your guys' chances?
I like our chances. I say that not in an arrogant way, but I say that in the way that I believe in the group of guys that we have. We're healthy. Guys are ready to play. Guys are focused. Guys are locked in. This is something that we talk about on a daily basis, how important it is to go down there and be locked in from the jump. So everybody seems like they on the same page, right? They are very aware of what's at stake. And for me to go down there, and I think we have the hardest uphill battle, right? And because just where we at position-wise, we sitting in ninth right now. We got to stay within that 4 games, of 8th spot. So we don't have no time to slack in those 8 games going down there. So we got to go. We got to get it going. And then after that, it's like playoffs for us before the playoffs. And for me as a competitor, that's what excites me, because I know that I got to turn my switch on and there's no turning off once I get there. As opposed to a regular season, you're usually taking the 8 to 12 games to kind of get your feet wet and figure things out and get back in the excitement of the league, the first 2 weeks of the first month of the season. Now we got to go, and I'm excited about that from a competitive standpoint.
Carmelo, real quick, one of the things that you were a part of a really big moment in the history of this league in terms of activism with Chris, Dwayne, and LeBron at the ESPYs. How have you seen the way players have used their platforms change since then? Where do you see it going next?
I think what we did, I think it was 2015 or 16, 15 or something like that. We put a call out there to the athletes, and I don't want to use the word demand, but we did demand guys to step up to the plate and use their voices and use their platform. And I think that's what you're seeing now. Guys are feeling, athletes in particular are feeling more comfortable with using their voice and using their platform, being able to allow to say what they have to say what they feel, and be human at the end of the day. Because for so long, as athletes, we were afraid to be human. We just go play basketball, go do what you got to do. Don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about what's going on out there in the world. Just focus on what you have to focus on, which is basketball. And I think now what you're seeing is everybody, for one, is more comfortable. For two, is more educated on things that we're dealing with. And you're going to continue seeing guys become more educated on not just what we're dealing with, but the history of who we are, of people, of our country, of situations, and how we got to where we at. So once you start being woke, sort of say, and educated on the real history, then you don't feel no pressure at all to be able to talk about that. And for so long, we weren't educated on a lot of the topics, so we were afraid to engage in these conversations. And now we are educated. You know, as far as the masses go, we are educated. We're learning. We're constantly learning, and we feel comfortable with sitting down and having these uncomfortable conversations because we actually took the time to learn about a lot of these topics and a lot of things that's going on.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up there. Thanks, Mel. I went twice as long as I said we would, so I already owe you 15 minutes.
Yeah, you owe me.
Thanks,
Okay,
Melo.
thanks everybody.
Good to see you, Melo.
Carmelo, safe travels.
All right.
Terry will be on.
Thanks, Carmelo. We appreciate it.
Terry will be on at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'll send a Slack out about that. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jim.